So the first public comment hearing we had was at Loma Linda, which is in Clifton, Arizona, not far from Morenci, a town very similar to this. There's about 135 customers there. We had over 40 people at the meeting. Here today, I think what you saw in a small company of 27 customers, we had about 50 people here in the room. So I think just the size of those attending compared to the amount of folks that you have customers, that's a big deal.
He's never notified me when there's going to be an outage.
We both land in the same place. These are small and medium-sized water companies who have similar problems with outages. It usually means infrastructure, there's water loss, which usually means more expense to pump water that's not getting to where it should be. There's over 300 small water companies that we're responsible for, and we take that responsibility very seriously. At the end of the day, it's important that folks know that we're not coming out to do anything more than to go back and try to find out where the problems were and how we can fix them. And I'm grateful to the commission and staff that will come out to folks all over the state of Arizona.
We were really lucky that some of these outages didn't occur in June.
They're health issues, they're fire issues, and we think that's why the voters put us here, and we think that's why the commission is here.
So we're out in the public every day. We've got inspectors out there on the rail systems as well as the pipeline systems, and we do very detailed safety-oriented and compliance inspections. So when you see the Arizona Corporation Commission logo on their shirt, you're looking at a dedicated safety professional that cares about Arizona and cares about keeping us safe.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It was the first time our safety division ever did the CPR and first aid training, and it was brought up to me by an inspector, as a matter of fact, and I thought it was a great idea. So we scheduled it, and we trained all 24 of our inspectors and admin staff. So they trained on first aid, self-aid, CPR training, and AED training. They have to be ready to respond to first aid. They have to be able to respond to CPR. It's just part of responsible citizenship as well, but it also keeps our inspectors safe. You know, our primary goal is railroad and pipeline safety, as well as underground facilities enforcement. The CPR training and the first aid training, it just makes sense. We can't pick and choose which safety items we kind of enforce and we upheld. And if we could put those tools in their tool belt to keep Arizonans and my inspectors safe out there, then we're going to do it.
Hello, I'm Angie Holdsworth, Communications Manager for the Arizona Corporation Commission. In this podcast, we're talking with Commissioner Bob Burns on a very serious topic, the potential of cyber attacks on utilities internationally and here at home. And Commissioner, thank you for being here. Now, I know you recently attended a top-level security briefing with the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Probably you can't disclose some of the things you learned there, but what about the real complexity of this problem?
Well, with the advancements in technology and especially in the computer world, computer programming specifically, it's a real challenge to get ahead of all that. I use the example that if I hand you a letter and say, here's an opportunity for you to proofread, you can sit there and look at it and find problems and correct them and be done in a very short period of time. If you are handed a, millions of words software package, to proof, to try and find bugs, it's pretty much impossible without another program to do it. So you have to have software to check on the software. And so how reliable is the checker? And so, and the way that the utilities work with hiring, subcontractors and so forth, they don't have all of the in-house programming available to do all of their software. So they hire outside companies to do it. the outside company might hire a subcontractor to write the program that is sort of the policeman, if you will, to make sure there's no hacking taking place and so forth. So there's a lot of opportunities for mischief when you've got that many people and that kind of complex systems put together.
All right, so many different layers, I guess, where
Right.
you have protection and a risk at the same point. What about, I don't think we really, maybe we take it for granted a little bit that we're always going to have our utility services available to us. What real impact would we have here? I guess really anywhere that there's a successful cyber attack. Let's talk a little bit about the impact that would do to our community.
Well, I think if you just think for a minute the dependency that we've got on our utilities, and now especially your electrical system. I mean, we're all charging all our phones. We got all of our communications equipment is tied to the power grid some way or another. You have your utilities that are processing the cleaning of the water, processing the sewage. All of these things are dependent on electricity for power to make them work. So if you get a interruption in the power and it becomes a significant amount of time, and I don't even know what that means anymore. I mean, a day, 2 days, or even less possibly. I recall having my power out here in the Phoenix area in my business office for 3 days one time, and it was well over 100 degrees, so it was like you can't even work in that kind of a situation. So, I mean, a day or a 2-day outage could create some real serious problems for the utilities and for the service industry of cities, for example, trying to serve their constituents. So it's a big risk, I believe.
Well, and costly too. I think at one time you and I were talking,
Right.
just not only the cost of what's lost, but fixing it.
Right.
And who pays for that?
Right, and that takes you right back to the programming package. The software package can be very expensive, millions of dollars, and the utility becomes dependent on that software package, and then for some reason, if the supplier might go bankrupt or for whatever reason goes out of business, and it's not that easy just to take that software package, set it aside, and pick up another one. And if you have paid for example, a software package for operations, and you have another subcontractor there to provide your cybersecurity package, and something goes wrong with the security package, then what? How do you recover from that without significant cost? And if there is significant cost, does that come back on the ratepayer?
So I guess as citizens, we kind of trust that our utilities are doing everything that they can do to protect us. But how do we know, or how do you, as an elected official, know that the utilities, are taking the proper steps, or what they can do at least, to prevent something like that?
Well, and I think that's the real challenge, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm excited about being appointed to this NARUC committee, the Critical Infrastructure Committee, because they're in the business of looking at those kind of issues. And the organization, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, is focusing on this issue as well. And so the NARUC committee has been working with the National Intelligence Committee along with FERC, and so they're developing tools to assist regulators and the utilities in being able to basically organize their programs in the right order, know what they need to be checking for, and so forth. So they have offered to the intelligence National Intelligence Group have offered to come on site and basically do an audit of the systems and provide advice on how they might be better equipped to fend off any cyber security attack.
Okay, well, good. Maybe some good cooperation, I guess, between federal and state
Right.
and utilities. As the average citizen, I mean, what do I take away from this? What should I feel? Should I feel safe, or should I be?
Well, I would hope that the citizens would understand that we are on the job, hoping to stay ahead of the problem as much as possible. It's a tremendous challenge. One of the things that causes it to be such a problem is that the attacks can come from anywhere. I mean, virtually all over the world. And so it takes a very sophisticated defense to, take care of all that. So the goal here is to get out in front of this as much as possible, stay out in front of it, and make sure that we don't have that, outage that would be very detrimental to the quality of life of the people here, as well as the economy and health, for that matter.
Very good. Well, topic we'll definitely want to keep following, and maybe follow up with you again, as this different types of things maybe enter into the marketplace. I know there's a lot of technology, and with the grid and trying to protect it along the way, it's got to be, I guess, always on your mind. Those types of
Yes,
things. Very
absolutely.
Good. Well,
Be glad to follow up.
Very good. We'll definitely be following up. And if you would like to contact Commissioner Burns, you can visit our website at www.azcc.gov and then click on his page under the Meet the Commissioners tab. Thank you for listening.